Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Beyond 9 to 5 Freelancing Exposed with Ezioku. If you are feeling stuck in your current job and you're looking for a change or you want to earn extra income, this is the show for you. If you're curious about blue collar jobs and would like to know more, this is the right place. I hope to be able to inspire you to pursue your career goals and maybe even discover your dream jobs along the way. Today, we'll be talking about the 10 most profitable blue collar jobs within the industry in Nigeria. And the first on our list is Declutter. Now, first you begin to wonder, Declutter, why Declutters? Now, Declutter are a special set of online vendors who are established online who need just smartphones. For you to be a declutter person, you need just a smartphone. You don't need anything serious. You could establish on Facebook, you can establish on Twitter, or even Instagram. But the major ones are usually on Instagram. So basically, what does a declutter do? Now, declutters are people you go to when you want to move apartments and you need an AC or you need a gas cooker and you don't want to buy new ones. Rather than go to Gigi or go to Jumia or go to any of these online platforms, you can just go to any of these social media handles and you see a declutter person. What are they selling? They sell household items mostly, right? So most of these people who are traveling, like there's this jackpot syndrome now, and people want to leave. So when they want to leave, they look for a declutter who helps them sell off this item. And I can tell you that declutters earn as much as over ₦1 million a month, depending on your customer base and your following on any of the platforms. And it is so profitable that they earn as much as 10% or 5% of the value of the product. So if you could look at, if you want to look at going into being a declutter on any of the media platforms, these are things you need to consider. You need to look for people that want to sell. You need to create an influence, an aura that people will know you for this particular thing. This is what I do, and people will come to you for it. The second blue collar job we're talking about is thrifting. Now you will see, we'll notice the evolution of thrifting in the Nigerian industry. And it has gone beyond having to visit Aswani market, having to visit super, and I would like to talk about the two categories of thrifting in the blue collar industry. One, you'd have to, as I've said earlier, you'd have to go to this market, right? And then either Aswani is it on Tuesday or Wednesday? I know they open on one of those 2 days. And then super, I think super is always open. And there are other thrift markets as well, where you purchase used clothes, second-hand clothes from all of this market men and market women. Now, the most interesting part is what I want to discuss with you right now. Now, it is a different class of thrifting, and these ones are majorly done by youth. Now, it involves purchasing this from the market, right? And then rebranding, what we call vintage wears now. And then these people have moved forward to creating brands online. When they've created brands online, they now sell this product at a much more expensive price than it would have been sold in the market. So, and now through this process, people now make much more. A thrifter will probably be making between 200 to about, let's say, 400,000 naira a month. And you also have to understand that now there's no fixed price to how much you make. How much you make is dependent on your target audience, your target market base. So you don't expect to start and think, okay, yes, you're going to be making 200,000, 300,000. You'd have to chase it and you'd have to pursue it rigorously with passion. Now, the third one that we'll be talking about now is barbing. Now, you'll be wondering, why am I saying barbing? How much does a barber make? Because our perception of barbers, right, is that, he just opens a shop and then the barber will be 500 naira or 1,000 naira. But I can tell you that for every trade, right, there's a way to play it well. In Lagos here, somewhere in Lagos here, there are barbers who charge as high as 5,000 to barb, 20,000 to barb, and that is within their store or within their barbing salon. Now, there's a different class of barbers right now, and those who have online presence, they have people within their shop, and they still deliver home cutting services, and they charge as high as between 20 to 100,000, depending on location. Now, imagine someone now, a barber charging 20,000. Let's assume that it's just barbing just one person, 20,000 at home. In 5 days, he has made 100,000. In let's say 4 weeks, how much has he made? He has made about 200,000 there, about 400,000 there. So you now begin to look at it as though, like, now this barber has will be making between 500 to a million naira, and you'll be wondering how a barber. No, barbing has evolved and it has moved way, way beyond our imaginations. And I also say, okay, now this is dependent on location, right? Location determines how much you charge. So you can't say because, okay, I said that a barber makes 100,000 here or 20,000 charging home service. You want to set up in a location whereby they are low income earners. So these are also dependent on location and the market force. Now, number four, we're talking branding and printing. I think I would like to put it as printing and branding. Either any comes first. They are intertwined and interwoven. It requires little or no skills. It involves you designing a brand, designing logo, flyers for church, mosques, and printing. Now, and as I've said, there's a popular place in Lagos, Shomolu, where there's really nothing you want to print that you can't get there. They are all there. So if you are into design or into graphics and you want to print, you realize that, okay, now once you have charged, you've charged your customer a so amount, and before you know it, if you are designing for 4 people and you are printing for 4 people per day, you might calculate between the amount of money you make charging this client. It is important to note that all of these skills, all of these blue collar jobs require little or no academic certificate. You do not need an academic certificate to be able to design. You just need little skill, maybe at most a week or two. There are people who learn design in a day, depending on the level of design you want to do. So you now realize that there are designers who are taking millions a day. I said a day, a month. And I would like to also state that how far you go in terms of designing and branding is dependent on few factors. One being how much you do your market research, your customer base. Another crucial one is how you also brand yourself. So in terms of branding, you say you are branding for people, you are printing for people, you also have to have an aura around yourself that people look at you. That when clients come, they don't just come and say, okay, they offer you 5,000 for design. There are people who would design. Look at the logo of BBC. I think BBC cost over $1 million, and it's just BBC, cheap. Some of the most expensive. Okay, I think in time I will show you some of the most expensive designs, and you realize that they are so simple. Some of these are just mere lines. Why? Those who design these things have packaged themselves. They've branded themselves in such a way that you don't come to them and price them cheap. I'm putting this particular section in branding because it speaks to those who are into this sector. Some of you will design and you've never charged beyond 20,000 naira, and your customers would almost want to choke you to death. And a friend once said that, he said the customers who offer the cheapest prices are the ones who stress you the most. And this is very true 90% of the time. Another set of blue collar workers who earn so much are photographers. Now, you begin to wonder the evolution of photography in the Nigerian space and how daddies were like the photographers, they bend you everywhere. But right now, photography has gone massively beyond our thoughts and one's imagination. Imagine a photographer just charging you for portraits about 2 million naira, and another person is charging you for a whole party, charging about 20 million naira. And he begins to wonder, how is this person charging this high? Is it not just to snap pictures? And I think that word is insulting to say it's not just charging. You probably have to compare how much they bought their cameras, how much time they've taken to build a reputation, because sometimes people charge more for reputation than for even the work itself, because you are bringing me onto your show, you are bringing me to your event, my capacity. So I think for people who would want to go into photography, you need to know your onions. And I think learning from people who are well grounded in this particular aspect gives you a name as well, right? It's just as, let's say your first internship is with Channels Television as a media, and then you are going somewhere, you are going to a better place. Actually, you cannot go below because you have a standard. So photography earns so much. It earns so much. So for some people, while others are making about 10K for just a shoot, someone is making 2 million naira for just portrait. So it is very, very important that you understand that when you want to go into photography, you look at what people are doing right. Look at T.Y. Bello. Look at this. I think there's someone one called 24 whatever, and you see how much they charge for just to shoot, just to for you to sit down for a few minutes and shoot, and they are not people you can talk to anyhow. So it is important that if you want to be a photographer, set it in mind that you want to be top rated. And photographers in Nigeria, they earn between, let's say, let me think of the worst possible price a month, 50,000 naira to 30,000 naira a month. That is how big it can be. And it is left to you to choose between where you want to fall, whether you want to fall as a low earner or you want to fall as a high earner. Now, another category of people we'll be talking about are bloggers. Bloggers are a very unique set of people. And I've come across a number of them. And trust me, I can tell you that most of these people did not go to university. Some of them even quit. There's a particular blogger who earns money per minute, and his name is Koji. I recently met him. I've not spoken to him one-on-one, but Koji earns money per minute. Just recently, he wanted to teach people he wanted to take a tutorial on how to load an account. And he said the entry fee that they were going to pay him was 5 million naira per person. If they were going to pay him, and he said he was just going to teach 10 people, and within 30 minutes, people paid 5 million naira. That means, do you know how much he earned in about 30 minutes? He earned, for 10 people, he had earned, that is 10 times 5, that's 50 million naira. 50 million. And for people to have paid that, it means they have seen value in what this man offers. So, as I said before, there are bloggers who probably earn $100 a month. And there are bloggers who are earning over 100,000. I'll give you another typical example of a blogger. He said his name is Raphael. Last year, he was so down. He said he was about to pay his house rent and he had nothing. And he almost got evicted, right? And he started all over again because his account was blocked by Google. He started all over again. When he shared his screen his dashboard, earning dashboard, he had made I think he was on about $358,000. And as I said before, there are also bloggers that are still in that same space, earning $100, $200 a month. And there are few things you need to be a blogger. You need a phone, you need a laptop, you need to have an in-depth understanding of SEO. You need to have a clear vision of what you want to do. You need to know the best-selling niche. I think currently the best-selling niche for bloggers is tech niche, the finance, and scholarship and education. Why these are some of the best niches? Because basically I think fitness is there too, because fitness is one of the things that people want to know more about now. And you say everybody wants to diet, everybody wants to lose body fat, people want to have a certain body shape. So when you create websites like that, it gets you traffic. And what is blogging? Blogging is the ability for your site to gain organic traffic. And we're able to gain their black hat method, which I cannot say here. I'm telling you the white hats method here, where you're able to gain traction to your website. And people are into health. Go to YouTube, go to anywhere. Everybody's into health. Everybody's into dieting. You also look about finance. Finance is like everybody wants to make money. Literally everybody wants to make money. So people are looking for information that helps them optimize their knowledge. Another important one is scholarship. People want to live, people want to jackpot, people want to run. So people are quick to check on websites that have information on how best to live, how best to get scholarship, and how best to, nobody wants to pay. So when you get an opportunity to live at no cost, you jump at it. Another category of blue collar jobs who earn so well and are not so known are drivers. Now I think let me talk about a little bit of the challenges people face. Now, usually, right, drivers have made it very difficult for people to buy vehicles and give to people to drive for them, because initially, you buy something and you buy your car, you give it out. They're usually very honest. You get the driver and it's very, very honest and says, oh, they're going to be remitting this amount, and that. But over time, people have come up with a way to handle it much better. That is, option one is you buy the car, give it at hire purchase, right? So if you drive it roughly, if you lie, it is on you, because the plan is that once you drive it, you keep paying. It's as though you are buying it, and you keep paying till you're able to pay it off, and then you take the car. So whatever shape it is you have driven the car, it is yours. But I want to talk about another category of people who earn so well as drivers, and these are truck drivers in Nigeria. An average truck driver in Nigeria earns between uh, um, 30 to 100,000 a day, depending on the location and the distance. Now, there was a particular girl who went viral on Gossip Mill, and Gossip Mill had to push her following and all of that. So for a lady, and then I think she says she earns about 40,000 naira, and that is just on record earning, right? Now imagine you're traveling and you are carrying extra load for as side hustles. That's about five. Even if it is 1k, 1k, 2k, 5k, 10k, you realize that at the end of the week you are earning, multiply 30 by 5. I like to work between 1 to 5 business days. But for people who are within the white collar, the blue collar jobs, you realize that some work 7 days, some work 6 days. So multiply it. So take first 5 days as the actual amount they earn, and they spend what they earn on Friday, Saturdays, and Sundays, or on whatever it is they wish to. You realize that these drivers are earning so much. Another set of people who earn so well are content creators. Now, content creators can be in so many. There are photographers that are content creators, right? There are people who are within the writing industry. You go on Twitter, there's a popular lady, Hawa, who got employed by just creating content, written content about Afa Oloriebi and co. There are people who write essays, who use descriptive essays to run adverts. They are very popular on Twitter. They are very popular on LinkedIn. They use narrative descriptions. They use stories to tell, to storytelling, to push a product. And you would not know up until the end of the story. So content creators is so wide. It's so wide. So you have to particularly pick which you want to fall into. So do you want to fall into photography? Do you want to fall into food? Do you want to fall into writing? Do you want to fall into any category that you want to? But content creators earn between about 100 to 700 or even a million naira per month, depending on your audience. And which leads us to brand influencers. Now, brand influencer is an extract of content creation, because they both follow similar pattern. They've had to build a name. Let's take for example on Twitter, Pamela. So when you look at Pam should probably be making about 5 million naira a month. And this statistic, this record is for about, let's say, 2 years ago. So he'd probably be earning more now. And how did you do this? He was able to accumulate a large amount of followers. I think he has about 1 million followers. So now, when you are paying him, you are not paying him for his image. You are paying him for his ability to deliver, the control he has, the capacity his adverts reaches. So if you have somebody who is able to reach 1 million people, so he charges you based on how much he earns. And to be a social media influencer, to be a brand influencer, it takes nothing. It just takes consistency. It takes your phone and your data. You have to consistently tweet. There are people on TikTok who all they do is just content creation, and through that they have become brand influencers. They have signed, and I think one of the very popular things right now is that when you get a deal, everybody wants to append a signature on a book. So it shows that now I have arrived, I have gotten to this level, and by so doing, it means that I have moved from a content creator to a brand influencer. So they don't just create content. The essence of the content they are now creating is to be able to influence a product in the market for people to patronize. That is why you see that skincare has now become so much, because you look at somebody who got influenced through beauty and now comes out and say, I'm using this particular product. You will see how people will go and people will buy and purchase that product. Now, lastly, another very innovative blue collar job that I want to talk about is online food vendors. Back in the days, for you to be able to eat, you literally have to find a shop or a kiosk or a roadside or even an eatery to eat. But right now, we have evolved from that. There are people who just sit at the comfort of their home. They sit at the comfort of their home and they make food. There are people there are vendors on Instagram who have just, what do they have? They just have itinerary. They have a timetable of what they cook per day. So you cannot order rice or fried rice on the day they are not cooking or fried rice. They will tell you, oh, today we're making spaghetti. Spaghetti are special. So the only food they probably offer every day is white rice or jollof rice. So they have specials for different days. It can be boli, it can be other things. And they do all of this with little or no capital. They cook with the same pot, they cook their own food at home, and then they package your food and send it within locations. I think the only difference is that now you cannot be in Ibadan and be ordering food from somebody who is in Lagos. You can only order that for somebody. Let's say you like a girl, you're checking a girl right now, or your mom, or you're someone within the city, and then you're ordering that food and they are delivering it to the person you have within that location. And these people earn between 200 to ₦1,000,000 a month, depending on your reach. So it is also very important that I say this, that these online food vendors have brought solution, to us as consumers, because some people do not like to leave the comfort of their home, and work from home has become a very crucial part of our lives. And some do not even have time to cook, and all they do is they just order food. They can order a bowl of rice, they can order a bowl of egusi soup, a bowl of any soup they want, and you don't even have to step out, and then they deliver this food and then you store in your fridge. What are the major things needed to become an online food vendor? Well, I think the most important one is that you have to know how to cook. So I would not see the need for you to want to be an online food vendor and not be able to cook. Second, you need a very good smartphone that can take very good pictures, because you can cook a very nice food and not have a good picture quality, and that does not sell your product. So apart from that, I think those are like the two main things. You need your cooking sets too. You need your cooking utensils, which are not necessarily, you don't need to buy. Just use what you use in your house to cook. So these are the 10 major blue collar jobs that we have right now, and hopefully we'll be bringing more of this content to you. Until we see again, goodbye. Thank you for spending your time with me today. I hope you found this content to be informative. If you've enjoyed this video and would like to see more, do not forget to hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification so you never miss an update. If you found this video helpful or informative, do give it a thumbs up and share with family and friends. Thank you.